I give the call to the member for Dunkley.
Thank you, Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Employment and Workplace Relations. What steps is the government taking and what obstacles have there been to boost wages and to close the gender pay gap? Why are there so many loopholes that have kept wages too low?
The call to the Minister for Employment, Workplace Relations and the Arts.
Thanks very much, Mr Speaker. And I thank the member for Dunkley, who has been a tireless defender of working people in this parliament. There's a really simple reason why wages were kept low, and that's the previous government wanted to keep wages low. And there's a really simple way in explaining the obstacles that have been presented when we've tried to get wages moving. It's that those opposite still want to keep wages low. When we put to the parliament stronger pay equity laws, they said no. We said yes to helping low-paid female-dominated sectors get pay increases. When we put in the Secure Jobs Better Pay Bill sections prohibiting sexual harassment, they said no to those provisions in the law. We said yes, yes to safer workplaces for women and an accessible process for workers. When we put forward better access to flexible working arrangements, they voted no. We said yes to the parents and carers who need more flexible working arrangements. When we put forward legislation to ban pay secrecy clauses, one of the key drivers of the gender pay gap, what do you reckon they said? No. They said no, and we said yes to closing the gender pay gap. When we put forward the sunsetting of zombie agreements, they said no to that, voted no, and wanted to keep agreements from way back in the work choices era still valid. And let me give you one example of what that means. The Mantle Group. The Mantle Group, up until last year, still had their workers employed on an agreement from 1999. Those opposite thought that was okay. Mantle Group had been enjoying a massive windfall of not having to pay penalty rates for 22 years. And those opposite voted no to fixing that loophole. The Fair Work Commission said, and this is a quote from the Commission, the effect of this employer having the benefit of an agreement made in 1999 without the payment to employees of penalty rates, at least in the last decade, is a disgrace. I consider it necessary for a light to be shone on these kinds of archaic agreements. Mantle Group then went off to look for the next loophole. So they had a new enterprise agreement negotiated between HR and 4 members of management that would then apply to the entire workforce. We'll have more legislation this year to close loopholes. Those opposite will vote no, because every loophole that drives down wages they have been determined to defend.